Hey, Adio, everyone. Lost Leader here, back in action to talk about various things in my life, like I said, I usually do with these vlogs. And I have to say that I'm kind of in an interesting situation here. Effectively, I feel really great. I feel over the moon. I'm up top. I actually feel like I'm becoming more of myself every day and every hour, every situation. I feel happier. I I look happier, and it just makes me very happy. In a lot of ways, I'm kind of suspecting, in all honesty, that I'm gonna get into a funky mood again. I'm gonna feel sad about myself. I'm gonna not like what I'm doing about myself. I'm gonna be just in general bad about it. And maybe that's just has a lot to say about my personality and my expectations, about how I'm running a high cloud right now, and I'm gonna go swooping down, just like that. I wouldn't necessarily it is a bipolar thing or it is depression, but god dang, does it not feel similar to that. That's just the case in point. It really, really is. It really depends on how everything goes in my life, how everything is situated, because everything is on the up and up. It's chugging along, going choo 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 choo. But there's a lot of bad things that happen in the world. There's a lot of bad things that are still going on. We still don't have a lot of changes happening politically, with gun control and this net neutrality thing that's happening. And if any of those things take full effect to the point of just ruining us as a society, then we're kind of screwed altogether. So it's not something I'm too worried about on my personal end, because there's like, how much can I actually do about it? There is something I can do, but how much can I actually do? That's the way that I kind of look at it. So I'm not too worried about that situation. In fact, I tend not to really worry all that much either. I find worrying to be a very useless emotion in comparison to just, let's do this, let's do that, let's keep moving on, going forward, and just moving ahead. But as always, there's self-doubt, and there's sadness that looms on ahead as always. And I always do feel it is important. It's very important to celebrate that sadness and to cry and to have all those situations going for us. Like, by no means am I wishing like sadness to myself, or do I want to be like, I want to feel down the dumps now to counteract this happiness that I have. It's just more so I'm aware that sadness is something that always happens in life, no matter how quote unquote happy you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how much of this happens and whatnot. We all can't get what we want, because half the time when we get what we want more than that. That's human behavior and whatnot. That's all it really comes down to, is we have that sort of situation going for ourselves. So it's not really that like I'm like too keen on going like, let's get sad together, everybody. I'm just kind of reflecting on how sad I've been before, and how I'm actually feel so great right now. And in all honesty, if I could tell my 18-year-old self, I could tell my 21-year-old self, if I could tell my last year self how much better life has gotten right now, I would. When I was effectively 18, I figured it out. I finally cracked the code on the transgender thing with this little anime called Kashimashi Girl Meets Girl. And I was astounded at these findings and whatnot. I was like, oh my god, I totally am. I want to be a girl. Like, that's what I want to be. People do not fantasize about being in a Yuri relationship. They fantasize about being with two girls and all that other such. Not the, you're the girl with the other girl. They don't do that. And I was like, I didn't understand that. It did not process through my head. And I was so utterly confused. And I was just like, and then when I finally found out we're transgender, when I finally figured out what that whole meant, when I was taking tests and I was coming up with those results, and when I was happy to see those results, because I was happy, because it's just, you don't know so much about yourself, and then when you finally click, things just, it feels better to just click and be like, that's it. That's who I am. That is the person that I want to be. And like, I think it was when I was 21. It was either I was 20 or 21 that I finally came back from college, and a lot of things hit me, and it was one of the darkest times in my life, and I like to talk about it a lot because it's very important to be like, you know what, I got through it. If I could get through it, I feel like anyone could get through it. In all honesty, I really do. I don't think of myself as a very strong individual, despite the fact that I might be that strong or something. I don't feel that way. I don't think anyone feels that way. I don't think anyone considers themselves to be a strong individual on their own. Just go like, yeah, I am. I could do everything that I want to do. A lot of it's a fake it till you make it sort of confidence when it comes to that situation. And when I was 20, 21, all that jazz right there, just like right in between, I just got done with everything. I quit my job at Walmart. I quit going to school because I couldn't afford it, and I moved back to my old to my grandma's house, and I just didn't get a job. I didn't have anything like that. There was nothing going for me. There was no one that was willing to hire me. There was no one willing to do anything. And I just felt such great despair, and I felt stuck, and I felt lost, and it sucked completely. I did not have a big old budget at the time. I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was not buying games. I was barely playing games. I was on the internet all the time, and it sucked so hard. And a lot of what drove me to continue on, in all honesty, to continue on, what made it happen was my friends. There's two friends in particular that I would like to thank right now. One we're just going to call E, and the other one we're going to call M. All right, just for privacy's sake and whatnot, for their own sake. And E was one of the people that knew that I was back, knew that I was willing to hang out and stuff like that, and they were always able to hang out with me. They were able to pay for my money. They were able to pay for my food. They were able to do everything to just kind of support me to go out and hang out. And I really needed that. I needed something else to take me out of that house and just strive to move forward just a little bit, interact with people, socially interact. And by no means do I think I really presented myself to be a very sad sack at the time. They were just aware that they're like, hey, we have to pay money for me right now because I don't have a job or anything like that. And admittedly enough, I've had a bit of a turncoat going into school again, and then I met another person. That's Platty, by the way, as well as a few other people. And we hit it off there, and then I started paying for food for other people because I had the job at the time. I got the job, and it's kind of cycled through to where I'm the one that pays money for people to get food and stuff like that. And honestly, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all because I've been there. I've been in that situation where it's just like, I don't have the money to pay for this. I'm going to pay the money. It's just more so the fact I don't like when people are just like, hey, you know what? Pay for me. Instead of just like, let me offer to pay for you in that situation and whatnot. But that's a whole nother thing. And honestly, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about my good friend E here. And he was really great at the time. He really is. We still talk on the occasion. And by the occasion, I mean, we're still Facebook friends. We still are able to chat up with one another just a bit. We haven't hanged out in a long time, and I do want to hang out with him again. I really do. But I have been so busy lately, and he's just like, yeah, you've been busy. It's just like, I don't know what to do with that situation and whatnot. So I'm not too upset about that, but it's just life changes. It do change. He's been doing well, and honestly, I honestly do wish him the best for every intents and purposes because he helped me out that much. And it wasn't a whole bunch, I would say, but at the time it felt like a whole bunch that I needed and whatnot. I just kind of needed a friend there in order to like understand like, hey, people still want me around and stuff like that. And it wasn't just family that was like talking to me and all that such. I did have a few other friends to talk to and whatnot and actually go do stuff with and whatnot. But I feel like he was the strongest presence when it came to that situation. And then when I look back even further, The biggest turning point in my life, in all honesty, the biggest another one that I will say, in all honesty, is the biggest reason why I'm still here, why I'm still standing, why I'm still going on about things and whatnot, and striving for a better future and doing all these things is because of him. In all honesty, I could say that full and wholeheartedly. He is the reason why. I don't think he understands how much he actually impacted my life by simply going, hey, I'm going to go back to school. I dropped out of university and I want to go to community college here. Do you want to come join me? And I was like, okay, cool. Let's go do that. And that was my big start to like going to college. And then when I went to college, I got to talk to more people. And then I found out a little bit more about myself. And I was able to go back into the whole entire, I want to transition. I want to keep going. And it just opened up so many doors. College opened up so many doors to me. And it had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with education whatsoever. It didn't. And I really hate how people go like, college is like all this academic stuff and whatnot, when really, in all honesty, the reason why a lot of people say college is one of your best times of your life is because the social aspect is because you talk to other people. That is why it is the way it is. Why it's so great. It's honestly not because of the education. It's not because of the overpriced stuff that you pay for in order just to get a worthless degree. And, you fight me on that if you want, but I'm gonna say it as it is. But that's the way that I felt for so long. And it just feels like I'm finally continuing on. Like this last year, the year before that, and the year before that, I felt like I wasn't making nearly as much progress as I want to. And it kept going on and on like that. It just really did. And I wanted to move ahead, and we're finally moving ahead. And that's why I'm so happy for these sad times that I remember. And I'm thinking to myself, I went through that. I could get through that. I could keep going through things. This is why I'm not like really sad that, something bad may happen along the way. After all this stuff here, I still feel like I could go through it right now. Like right now, at this very moment, I feel like I could tackle on the world. I do. I'm not saying I can. I'm not saying that it will happen, but it's still a fake it till you make it thing. It really, really is. And that's a lot of the point to this. There's a lot of you're going to face negativity in your life. You're going to have to go through things in life, and it's not going to be the best thing at all times. But eventually you do find some sort of happiness in some sort of way, shape, or form. It gets better. And it doesn't make sense that it gets better, because when you say that to somebody at the time, at the place, you don't see it. You just don't see it. You're so trapped in your mind and you're set, and you're just like, there's nothing I could do. There is absolutely positively nothing I could do. I don't know what to do. And it's the small little steps that keep you going. It really, really is. And it sucks so much that you can't see it when you're sad. And when you're happy and you're on top of the world and you see this kind of stuff, you're just like, I could do it. I could do it. I could keep moving forward. I could keep going with this. I can make possibilities happen. And it doesn't happen when you're at your lowest. And it sucks because of that. And I'm not saying people that are sad that they need to move forward, that they need to keep going in that sense. I feel like there's a lot of solace in actually going, I'm going to be sad now. Let me be sad. I'm going to be sad for a week. I'm going to be sad for a day. I'm going to be sad for a year. That's fine. You go do that. You don't have to always move. That is the whole purpose of being sad and just wanting to contemplate yourself and understand yourself and everything. But once you're done understanding yourself, once you're done being sad, once you're done with this situation, you go do stuff. And that's kind of the point, is you got to make the small steps. You just eventually is what I'm saying here, I suppose, that you should make that situation happen. I don't want to make this a big old inspirational speech. I kind of feel like I went there. I did not mean for it to be that way. I'm just happy right now. And I've been so sad for so long, and have had so many issues with the way that I look, so many issues with just what I was doing in my life, and so many issues just going around for myself and only myself, that it's kind of a awe to me right now to think about how I am and where I am right now in comparison to how I was within last year, within 2 years, within 7 years, within 9 years of just how much could change and how fast it can change. And I don't know what else to say about that. I really don't.